Ah, quit it. Quit it good. Ah, quit it. Quit it real good. Just quit it. Just quit it. Ladies and gentlemen, your quit of the week as rapped by your boy, Z Falls. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Hey, hey, hey. Goodbye. Cha cha cha. What's up, everybody? Z Farrells here with a brand new MUT podcast looking at offensive value today, but we're going to start it off with a Game Changer pack. Nothing to do with me being an EA Sports Game Changer, just bought this pack, and it's going to give you 10 golds and, of course, a badge, and that gold badge is guaranteed, but who has gold when you can have that red paint elite badge? So a very nice badge. Those are going for quite a bit on the market or in your collections. As we keep ripping golds here, nothing great on the golds. You know, we got a lot of these guys already, but if you don't have that great of a team, I mean, it's a good way to get some more dudes for your roster. So depending on if you're looking for badges or not, I'm not really a huge collections guy per se, so I'll probably sell this elite badge. You know, that Carlos Rogers that I yanked, he's pretty good, but ultimately he doesn't fit what I want to do on defense, so I'll probably end up moving him for some coin. But that is the Game Changer pack available this weekend, for this 24-hour stretch. So that is what's going on there. But basically today we're going to look at offensive value players. I'm going to start with my offensive line. Andrew Whitworth, to me, one of the best left tackles in the game. I like a run blocking style there. You saw his strength in run block. Mackenzie Bernardo at guard, he has tremendous strength in run block. Pouncey, I pulled him from a Prima pack. He has 90 pass block, which is good. And, you know, his strength's a little low. 88 is really good, though, actually. But, you know, he's a guy that I like enough where I'm not going to move him if I don't have to. Here you see Alex Boone. I sold Roger Saffold for $40K, who was an elite player, to use Boone instead. And Greg Robinson is the other piece as a 94 strength, 95 run blocker. Those are the offensive linemen I recommend. Delanie Walker, he has tremendous run block, 85. So if I'm running a gun 2-back set, or a gun 2 tight end set, or a single back ace style set, I want 2 big run blockers in my game, and I'm going to sub Delanie Walker. And this Kelsey I picked up from the Football Outsiders. He's really good, 6'4", pretty good jump, a great combo of things. Mike Evans, as you guys know. Reggie Bush, when you get him from halfback to receiver, is enormously clutch. Alfred Morris, Colin Kaepernick. So I'm going to go into some more budget players on the auction block, but I do think the Kaepernick overall is a pretty good blend of you know, speed and mixture. So if we're looking at receivers first, this is Stephen Hill. He has a nice blend of size and speed. He was cut from the Jets, but still, you're going to see with Stephen Hill a nice 6'4" frame, and he can make a lot of plays for your team. So let's sort. This Garcon's come down a lot in price recently, 91 speed. He can do a lot for your offense. If you know, 82 catch and traffic's pretty legitimate. That 88 elusive, though, is where he's going to really excel. Haha, get it? Acceleration and elusiveness. He's got a nice blend of the two. Now, this Wes Welker I had for 10,000 to 12,000 coins. I sold him immediately. I actually get into a huge bidding war here. It takes quite a long time, but his price has come down a lot as well. 82 speed, not good, but 91 catch and traffic, 90 elusive, really good agility, acceleration over the middle. If you are looking for the right type of player, he's your guy, or Anquan Bolden. But Welker's a little shiftier, Bolden a little higher catch and traffic. You know, we searched for this Wes Welker. Like I said, he was going for 10,000, 12,000 coins. I didn't think he was worth that, but now you see him at 7,000. Here, you know, he's down. There's a couple that I'm going to spend some time bidding on here, 1,200, 500,000. See if I can weasel one out for a reasonable price and even just use them or just sell them for whatever. So, you know, I'll get into bidding wars with cards like this if I see a guy that I like. You know, I won't show you the whole thing. I ended up just kind of giving up on it once the prices did get back up to that 6,000 coin range because I couldn't really make a profit. But that Welker can be a nice receiver for your team. As we dig through, Cecil Shorts has 90 speed, 84 catch and traffic for barely any coins. He's a guy that can fit into the right scheme as well and be kind of, I know Gibbs uses him as a backup. Now this Marquise Goodwin is a new card. It's a gold version of a different card that we recommended a lot. 96 speed, 84 catch and traffic. That's blazing speed at this point in the MUT season. I was actually shocked to see this Randall Cobb card too. Item. He has 89 speed, 90 catch and traffic. He was going for much higher. Now he's at a pretty reasonable price as well. And that's because, some of these team guys come out, which this Allen Hurns, a 6'3" with 89 speed, 90 catch and traffic. That's very similar to the Cobb we just looked at. And, so now you kind of have two similar players. I'd still rather have the Cobb probably, but, overall, that Hurns, who's kind of an unheralded receiver but had a big game, he is going to lower the price of a guy like Cobb that he comes out and has the same statistics as. I think is what happens. I'm not an economist. I don't hate that Andre Roberts. I don't hate this Kendall Wright either. However, he was going up in the 8,000 coin range when I was taking a look at him, and for 85 catch and traffic at that size, I think I can find a better value. Now this is the new Patterson with 92 speed, 83 catch and traffic. Good wheels, but he's going to be a little bit pricey. Any card that comes out early, I wait on because, people rip them out of packs and they cost a lot at first, but then they'll always kind of come down a bit. So once that Patterson settles, we'll determine if he's a good value or not. He's much better than the original Patterson. He's faster, and I have used the original Patterson, so that's always there for me, but we'll wait and see how he actually plays first, because to get some speed like that, you got a guy like Mike Wallace, who I've heard this card doesn't perform up to that 95 speed. That Goodwin has much more speed and a little more catch and traffic now. So that Mike Wallace is still pretty expensive. I haven't used him and tested him. Here you see like the opposite of Mike Wallace in Alshon Jeffrey. Slower, taller, more catch and traffic. So it, once again, really depends on the offense you're running. But those are two guys that are pretty popular. But I haven't personally tested the Wallace. I've asked for feedback from people in the chat, and they've said that the Wallace, they've said he's okay. He's pretty good. If you use him for the right things, he's okay. But he had a really good week one. I wouldn't be surprised to see him pick up a new item soon. Julius Thomas, this is the new Julius Thomas. As you saw, 87 and 89 for the old Julius Thomas. The new one has just a little bit higher catch in traffic and a little bit higher speed. Those are two things I look at. So, if you have to pay that much extra coins to get the team of the week Julius Thomas, and you're not going to use him in a collection, you're just going to use him on the field, if you can save maybe 10,000 coins here, let's see the difference. So yeah, we'll take it once again, a quick look, and this is the difference. You have a 1 overall boosted Julius Thomas, who had 3 touchdowns, so a very good performance. Here he's going for 15K, which is a nice balanced tight end. We're going to look at some other cheaper options, but here you see 88 versus for 26,000, 25,000. So you could save that 10,000 coins and not even bother going up to the team of the week and upgrading. But if you want a tight end that's in his range, that's more of a gold style player, we'll look at some options here. I've had pretty much every single tight end. One of my teams, I pulled just so many tight ends, and it's nice because I got to experiment and try with them. But a guy like Tyler Eifert is a guy that I've had on my team. We showed off some of our favorite tight ends. This guy would not stop inviting me. So you have John Mackey, who is a slower guy. I wouldn't really spend any coins on him, even though he's a legend. This Heath Miller, 91 catch and traffic. Really good option if you like a physical guy over the middle. He's got that big body, slow. So is Marty B, but doesn't have as high catch and traffic. Marty B in the regular Madden the last 2 years has been good, but his MUT item I'm not a huge fan of. Owen Daniels had a huge game last night. He could be a player you could see being an item for the team of the week soon. Now you have that Dwayne Allen with 85 run block. We've already mentioned him quite a bit. He's not going for a lot of coins either. Brandon Myers, we showed him off the other night. His catch and traffic. Chase Kaufman's another guy we showed off that you could definitely get involved with. Ultimately, when you're looking at tight end, you need to decide how you're going to use them, and to have more is to have better. To have a guy who excels at just 1 rating is good, but to have a guy, that's the low-end Kelsey. To have a guy in Gates is just nothing anymore. Unfortunately, Antonio Gates probably one of the best Madden 10 players of all time. Not really keeping up with his legendary status in this year's Madden. Same thing, Kyle Rudolph has his nice size, 6'6" and 82 speed's good, but he's got a low catch and traffic. I've used him and he does play fine. He plays pretty well, but I'm not gonna, and he's not super expensive, but I'm not going to go out and seek him out of my own way. I'd rather have a guy like Eifert, who's 6'5" and is a little faster, a little better catching traffic. He's a little more balanced. Gresham's similar to Eifert, same size, similar in the 80s range. So why not just pick up one of these two guys, possibly take them both, and just get them involved in your offense. If you don't have that many coins to spend, this is the range you want to be looking at. That we're looking at here, about 3,000 coins. Once again, if you're new to Ultimate Team, there's 3 tiers of coins in my opinion. There's the lower end players that are under 3,000 coins, usually between 300 and 3,000 coins. Then you have the second tier of gold players, that's like 8,000 to 12,000 coins, and then you have the ultimate tier, which is like 50,000 coin players or 40,000 coins. Anybody that's a huge purchase. Alex Smith is going to be that middle tier player. You'd expect him to be a lower tier guy. I like him at lower tier, but I don't love him at the short tier, even though he has great short accuracy. Manuel for 5,000, don't like him. Once again, when you're looking at these guys, you got to determine, as you build your team, you want to keep your team pretty even across the board. Like I have a Kaepernick who I consider that top, that large tier price, and I have a Cutler that I can consider that like second tier price. And I started out with a Ryan Tannehill, who's that first tier. Vic is kind of a first tier, second tier guy. And when I'm looking at the Vic here, I like him a lot. This Foles is pretty legit. 92 throw power, 95 play action, really balanced across the board. But I mean, this Vic with 95 throw power, I value that a lot. And I know his short and medium aren't great, but his deep is excellent. He's got good play action. I haven't seen a lot of people use him successfully online, and I haven't tested him myself. I used him last year, but that Vic could be a real thing. Whereas RG3, 93 throw power or less, 1 more speed, terrible deep accuracy. I've used him. He can get the job done for you as that second tier style quarterback. In the first tier of quarterbacks, I mean, you don't really want to skimp and not pay up big to get a good quarterback. So you do want to ultimately, try and make ways. That Cam Newton, there's going to be a lot of him coming out, so he'll go down in price. Here's the Kaepernick that I currently use, 93 play action, 94 throw power, and pretty balanced statistics across the board. He will make some bad throws, and that's something I've learned to live with, but he does the most, but he is that third tier guy. Like you could use a Cutler and use a Robert Griffin together and create a Colin Kaepernick if you're fancy and smart. So that's what I think about it. I like the Flacco, but I don't like him more than the Cutler. I'd much rather have Cutler than Flacco. Much rather have Cutler than Roethlisberger. Tannehill he's pretty good if you're just starting. I would stay away from the Palmer. I would probably go with the Tannehill if I was looking for that first tier, really inexpensive quarterback. Once you get into halfbacks, it all changes as well. We've gone over these in other shows, but I'll keep you going here. Danny Woodhead's the number one tier guy that I would go with. He's got 90 speed, 88 carry, which is excellent, and he's pretty elusive. Gio Bernard, though, is another option. He's usually going to be a little bit more expensive, but here you get him for a pretty good price. 90 speed, 95 acceleration. His carry's lower than Woodhead, though, and I'd also check their catches. Now, this Chris Ivory is a physical trucking back that I'm a huge fan of. We'll show him off in a second here. I really like what Ivory brings to the table. Here's an Ellington, and you're going to see he has 91 speed, 94 excel, which is similar to those two guys we just showed, Woodhead, but his carry is a little bit lower, and he's not as proven, and I've used those other two guys, and I can recommend them. Ivory, 93 carry, 86 speed, 96 truck. I mean, for that amount of coins, he's a second tier back, but he's a first tier price, which I'm a big fan of, finding that value. CJ2K, 95 speed, 95 excel. He's a guy I've stayed away from, but between him and Spiller with 95 speed, 96 excel, I mean, that 76 carry could hurt you with Spiller, but their prices have came down a lot, and those are two explosive guys that if you put them in the right situation can break you runs. I wouldn't use them as your every down back. I'd get a guy like Morris with 97 truck, 85 speed. But overall, I mean, those two guys are tantalizing performers. Sproles, 91 speed, 96 excel. That 96 excel separates in that 97 agility. That's why he's in that second tier 9,000 coin mark. But people love that Sproles. Now this Eddie Lacy is the rich man's. He's the rich man's Alfred Morris. 87 speed, 96 truck, 94 carry. So I would bump up from Alfred Morris to this Eddie Lacy. That's probably something I'll do in the future. I know they both play really well. And you look at the Gore. I'm not spending for the Gore. I'd rather have the Morris than the Gore. I'd rather have the Lacy than the Morris. So that's kind of my power back ranks. If I had the money, I'd consider the Marshawn at elite status. But why spend an elite Marshawn when, you know, you can just get one of those two other backs? Like Marshawn Lynch is a very expensive item. He's obviously a really good player, hangs onto the ball, can truck people, but he's got the same truck as those guys, same carry, same speed. So if you've got to pay that much more, why not just hang on a little bit until you really need to prove it? Now this McCoy I thought was the best back in the game. 95 speed, 97 agility. Can hang on to the ball, I think 89 carry. And Charles fumbled on him 2 times in a row. But then you look at the Charles, he's got better carry, better speed, better excel, lower agility, but that elusive rating. So looking at the card on paper, the item on paper, digital paper, it's Charles. People say McCoy that have used him. I think I don't know. I got to give the nod to Charles after just looking at him. Unless you really, really, really like a little bit extra agility, it's Charles all the way. AP with the 3rd in the ranking. So those are how I'm feeling currently about some great items in Ultimate Team. That's my offensive list. If you missed last week's show, we did defensive players, and we found some great guys. We've also showed you our offensive linemen at the start of the show. Those are guys that are run blocking based. Here's some left tackles. We looked at a Joe Thomas. He was down 45,000 coins, but now he's back up. These guys, I'm just looking for strength and regular run block. That's what I want in my guys until I start to face some pass blockers that are freaking me out. I'm just going to run the ball and stick with those guys. I'm not going to spend too big. I've sold some good linemen like Saffold for a nice amount of coins. So I'm going to spend my money on my quarterback position and just defensive depth and value and finding good guys. So that is how I spend my MUT coins. All right. Here we go. Let's take a look at a team breakdown coming up here, and make sure to send me any questions at Madden Bible on Twitter, at Madden Bible. What's going on, Ultimate Team gamers? Team teardown time. Reminder, if you send me your team with your Muthead lineup, either tweet it to me or email me. I will break it down. As you can see here, we're going to break down Captain Compost team today. Alfred Morris at the halfback position. I'm a big fan. He says in his email that he likes to run the ball pretty exclusively, so he's running a scheme from the Packers playbook off the inside zone split and power O. It's got the tight end in the backfield. So you're going to want a good pass-blocking tight end, in my opinion, to get this job done. Delanie Walker is what you have at that position. We talked about him a little bit earlier, and I'm a big fan. The single-back ace as well. On defense, he goes with a Tampa 2 style and uses the deep middle. He'll switch to cover 3, sometimes Dallas playbook. So I like his squad so far. As you can see, his offensive lineman, I would recommend him if he's going to run those power style runs. I think he does have some pretty decent guys here, but you like to see higher run block. These are what I look at: run block here, strength here. I think you can get better than Chester at that position. And if you go, you look at the left guard position. The Manny Ramirez is pretty good. I've looked at him before. I like this guy that you have here at left guard. The problem, though, I don't factor in this run block strength. I don't consider that important. I consider more the 78 run block. I've actually looked at this item myself. I'm thinking he's going to play more to a 78 than a 96, but I do like the 96 strength. He should get some push up field. So, just monitor him, I would say. Yeah, you don't have to ditch him right away, but I'd look at the Bernadou for one of these two positions here. And then at right tackle, 88 strength. Once again, 87 run block, going to be pretty good, 92. So it's a very good overall card at right tackle. As long as he's getting the push needed on the counter to get upfield, that's a card that I like. I like your fullbacks. You have a very speedy guy in Marquise Goodwin on one side. You've got a catch-and-traffic guy in Anquan Bolden on the slot. I wouldn't be surprised if you switch these two guys every now and then to make sure if Bolden's going over the middle, he's going to play well. I do like that Mike Evans. I have the upgraded one. I think, he can make some big catches for you downfield. 81 speed, not going to, blow anybody away. But as you can see, this catching traffic, people are paying a premium up here for it. So, you've done well picking one of him up in the slot. And as long as he hangs on to the rock, that's his goal. If you want to go downfield and a guy that might not hang on to the rock, you have Goodwin. The Stafford for his throw power is perfect, and the Cam Newton's pretty good. I don't like the Silas Red, but that's, just me. At this point, though, he's probably come down a lot in price, so it's almost maybe not worth selling him right away. Defensively, you said you play that cover 2. Once again, huge fan of this Malcolm Smith in the middle. I would let the computer use Malcolm Smith, though. I would not use Malcolm Smith. The Kiko, pretty good. You'd like to see him a little bit faster, maybe, but for the time being, he's a pretty good player, not one of your guys you got to worry about. Like Eric Reed with his hit stick up top, Vaccaro. You've done very nice at safety. Browner and McCourty are two of the best, in my opinion, at that cover 2 style zone defense that you're trying to play. And the Maxwell, obviously a nice item. So you have 3 really good corners that I like about your defense. I would look to go to the linebacking core for you next and upgrade there. I think unless you're going to blitz Trent Cole, you're going to lose a lot of what he brings to the table. So unless you're moving him down to the line, I don't like Trent Cole there. I think he can get a lot better at the backer position here, speed, and then here he's kind of a pass rusher. I don't want to see you use Malcolm Smith. I don't even really want to see you use the deep middle, just because the deep middle does a really good job getting pretty deep this year. I'd use one of these guys in wherever the formation's more stacked if I was going to play the cover 2. These cards are all pretty good. It really depends on your scheme. You're not going to bring too much pressure with the front 4. Overall, the Clowney is a very nice card, though. The Gethers, we talked about left ends last week. You're going to only really see strength guys there unless you pay a huge premium. So I don't mind that you have this guy. I would get a much cheaper, stronger guy, though, than Gethers. I'd dump him. Linval Joseph is perfect. So your defensive line is pretty good. I like that you have a good pass rusher here. You've got the strength. I'd switch up my left end. I'd switch up my right outside backer. I like the safeties. I'd either use a Reed or I'd use one of these 2 guys, but I'd like to see you upgrade them there next. I like that you have the Delanie Walker for run blocking. I'd get a much better second run blocking tight end as well. If you're going to be running 2 sets like single back ace, 81 run blocks is pretty legit for Selleck. So I think you're actually pretty good there. That's pretty much it for your squad. As long as these receivers are working out for you, that's something you gotta be confident in. This T.Y. Hilton is great. This is just a really nice card. As long as he's hanging on to the ball with the 83 catch in traffic and you're not putting him in bad situations, you've got a nice blend of guys. You got a tall guy, a slow, strong guy. You got a pure speed guy, and then you've got a nice mixture of everything. So I like what you've done with your offense for how you set it up. And remember, if you want to see your team broken down on the MUT podcast, Team Teardowns, send me a Muthead link. I will break it down just like I did today at Madden Bible. But it helps if you email it to me, zfarles@madtips.com, with what playbook you're going to be running. If you it was great to know that he plays a lot of cover 2. And overall, that's how we can help you get better. All right, thanks a lot, and we'll see you guys next week.